Cleetus McFarland just made a move that could completely change the way he approaches NASCAR racing, and the timing is impossible to ignore. After Dale Earnhardt Jr. repeatedly pushed Cletus toward more short-track racing, more seat time, and more experience before climbing higher in NASCAR, Cletus has now put serious money behind that idea. And this is not another wild content project or a one-off race car. He has invested in a dedicated pro late model being built specifically for him, and there's a very good reason he wanted it. Because if Cletus really wants to reach the Daytona 500 one day, he needs to become a better stock car driver first. And this latest move could be one of the biggest steps he's taken toward doing exactly that. So stay with us until the end, because once you understand what Cletus bought, why he bought it, and how Dale Jr.'s advice connects to the plan, this starts looking like much more than another race car. Welcome back to NASCAR Nation News. If you follow Cletus McFarland's NASCAR journey, make sure you're subscribed. Cletus has already made it clear that his NASCAR dream is much bigger than simply showing up for a few races. His ultimate goal is the Daytona 500, but the biggest challenge has never been getting attention. Cletus already has millions of followers and an audience that can bring new fans into NASCAR. The difficult part is becoming good enough behind the wheel to compete with experienced stock car drivers. That's exactly where Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been trying to help. Jr. didn't tell Cletus to stop racing. He wanted him to keep racing, but he also wanted him to slow down the development process and build the skills experienced drivers normally develop over many years. Dale Jr. explained that Cletus should be racing pro cars, late models and late model stocks, going to short tracks, getting laps and learning. And one line explains the philosophy perfectly. Cletus doesn't have to win every race. He needs to just go race and run and learn and experience and just get a big catalog of experience. That's important because jumping into a NASCAR truck or O'Reilly Series car puts him into a much more complicated environment. We saw that during his Truck Series debut at Daytona, when he got loose off Turn 4 and crashed into the inside wall. Then came his O'Reilly Series debut at Rockingham, where he finished 32nd, 6 laps down. But instead of treating those results as proof that the dream was over, Cletus started looking at what he needed to improve. And that's where this investment becomes important. The car Cletus bought is the number 33 Pro Late model, a straight-rail stock car from Port City Race Cars, and it's being prepared specifically for him. This isn't just another race car for a one-off event. The number 33 is meant to become a serious development tool, giving Cletus more competitive laps in a pro late model before eventually moving toward super late model competition. And that's exactly why this car makes sense. A late model gives Cletus an environment where he can develop his stock car instincts without immediately jumping back into the deep end of NASCAR. He can work on corner entry, throttle control, tire management, and, most importantly, learn how to react when the car starts moving underneath him. There's another interesting detail. Cletus reportedly sold a personal power boat to help fund the turnkey race car. For someone whose career is built around entertainment and content, putting a personal possession toward his racing development shows how seriously he's taking this. The car is also being fitted around Cletus because of his height, including the cockpit and seating position. Mark Rette and Port City Race Cars already have a working relationship with Cletus through his ARCA program, so this isn't a completely random partnership. That familiarity could make the development process much smoother. And there's one more thing that makes this investment stand out. Cletus isn't simply buying equipment. He's committing himself to a longer development process where every race can become another lesson before his next NASCAR opportunity. And Cletus isn't planning to stop at simply owning the car. The plan is to use the Pro Late model as a starting point and eventually move toward Super Late model competition. That's a much more serious racing ladder than simply showing up for another NASCAR weekend. Cletus also owns the Freedom Factory in Florida, giving him something most developing drivers don't have: access to his own track. He can use it to test the car, run laps, and work on specific weaknesses without waiting for a major race weekend. That could make this car a genuine development tool, and that's why Dale Jr.'s advice matters so much. Jr. wasn't saying Cletus didn't belong in NASCAR. He was saying Cletus needed more experience before trying to compete at the highest levels, and Cletus now appears to be taking that message seriously. He has even said he doesn't want to enter the Daytona 500 at the Cup level until he can keep up with the main pack and compete within a reasonable skill gap. That's a very different mindset from simply saying, "I made it to the Daytona 500." Cletus wants to be ready when he gets there. His NASCAR appearances have already generated enormous attention, and Childress Racing clearly saw value in what he brings. But now Cletus is investing in the other side of the equation. Instead of relying only on his personality and audience, he's investing in becoming a better driver, and that could benefit everyone around him. Cletus gets more seat time, RCR gets a more experienced driver, Rette Racing gets someone taking the development process seriously, and NASCAR potentially gets someone who can bring millions of fans into the sport while becoming a legitimate competitor. Of course, buying a late model doesn't suddenly make Cletus a veteran. He still has to race against drivers who have spent years competing on short tracks, and he has to prove that the lessons he's learning transfer when the pressure gets high. Cletus has continued building experience through ARCA, Rette Racing, and Childress Racing while also looking toward pro late model competition. Dale Jr. has openly said Cletus could race with them and that he would help him develop his craft, so the opportunity is there. Now Cletus has to put in the laps, and that's why this purchase could end up being one of the most important decisions of his NASCAR journey. The headlines will focus on Cletus buying another race car, but the real story is what the car represents. It's a change in approach. Instead of asking, "How quickly can I get to the next NASCAR level?" Cletus appears to be asking a better question. How do I become good enough to stay there? And if he follows that philosophy, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s advice could become one of the biggest influences on his racing career. Cletus still has a long way to go before the Daytona 500 becomes a realistic goal, but now he has another tool to help him get there: a purpose-built pro late model, a racetrack of his own, experienced people around him, and a clear development plan built around racing, learning, and gaining experience. For once, the fastest route to Cletus's NASCAR dream might actually be slowing down, because the Daytona 500 may still be the dream, but this number 33 Pro Late model could be one of the machines that helps make that dream possible. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you believe this is the right move for Cletus McFarland, and was Dale Earnhardt Jr. right about what Cletus needed to do? And if you want to follow every major step of Cletus McFarland's NASCAR journey, make sure you're subscribed to NASCAR Nation News. We'll see you in the next one.